Happy podcast day, Falcon.
Thank you so much. That was a very soft greeting.
Was it a very soft, like soft quiet, or just soft as not very welcoming? Would you like something a little more rambunctious? Is that what you're saying?
No, it was vocally soft, but also emotionally soft.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still very, very tired today. I've been ruining my sleep schedule for the last week. And
For work purposes?
No, for wedding purposes. I actually walked home from the wedding on, what night was that? Sunday night. I got home 20 minutes before TSL finals started, so I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just stay up and watch this till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that was a poor choice. Got it. Yes, okay. That's not work's fault at all, in fact.
No.
Yeah. Good to know.
So I watched TSL. That was good times. I ended up sleeping till like, I don't know, noon. And then I was up until like 2 o'clock in the morning the next day, and I'm finally kind of getting it fixed today.
Okay,
So,
that's good.
yeah.
Get back on track is always nice after it's been screwed up for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your plan? You gonna go to sleep right after this?
Oh, God, no. It's more or less fixed. So after this, I'll just have lunch, and then I'll have a couple hours, and then I'll go to bed.
Oh, okay. You have lunch a couple hours before you go to bed?
Well, I have lunch at lunchtime, which is just
But
dinner.
for you, it's dinner. Yeah,
Right.
okay. I got it. Yeah. Baker's hours, whatnot.
Yes.
And what's all this then? Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you got it fixed. Well done.
Where's my camera not pointed right? There we go. No.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I don't know. I've skipped so many things on prep today.
I think it's all good.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
All fine. All right. So what do we want to talk about first today? I guess maybe because it'll be fast. The Cyberpunk DLC announcement?
Yeah, Cyberpunk DLC and a patch.
Yeah, whatever. They keep putting out patches. I don't really care.
I don't think they haven't put out a patch in a little while. Before
That's
this
true.
one. Like, the last one was scrolling August last year.
Oh, dang. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, it's been a long time.
I don't think that's right. I just saw something that was posted. It was March. The last one was in March.
Oh, that's not, not as long ago, but still quite a bit of time. Some
That
months.
was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
6 months?
Yeah, it's September.
September now, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Truth. Anyway, I don't know. Look, it's Cyberpunk, so any marketing material they put out is immediately disregarded, or should be, of what they did leading up to the launch of their game.
Accurate.
So, I don't know. I'll have to see if it's well received, and I don't know. Maybe I'll get it.
Did they promise it was going to be free DLC?
So, okay. CDPR does this weird. They did this with The Witcher 3. They called DLC stuff that are like cosmetics and like new swords and different hairstyles available. They called that DLC, and that was free. So all that stuff.
But expansions aren't. Like,
Correct.
Blood and Wine or whatever.
Expansions, Heart of Stone, Blood and Wine, I think it's called, which are amazing. Like, they are killer expansions for The Witcher. One of them only adds maybe 6 hours, but the other one's like another 25, 30 hours of gameplay. So that's what they call expansions. So I think this is probably an expansion they're talking about.
Right.
And it won't be free. I don't think so.
No, probably not.
Although, considering, what they've done to their fan base,
It ought to be.
it ought to be free. Yeah. Like, earn some goodwill with us, you dinks.
It's going to be $19.99.
It's going to be $19.99?
Yes, that is what I found on Jinx.tv.
Oh, Christ.
Yes. What do you think that meant?
Year. $19.99. And I'm like, what? Did we change topics? What's happening?
Yeah,
Got it. It's going to be $19 dues and 99 cents a ruse.
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently. It's not coming out till next year anyway. And beyond that, I think they haven't said when next year. Just next year. So
Sounds about right. That's cool.
I'll worry about it then.
Apparently it takes place chronologically when you still have Johnny, so it's prior to the end of the game.
Wow. My ending of the game. Everything has to be prior to my ending of the game, because V just kills herself.
Yeah, no, V dies every time.
Does she?
No happy ending for V.
I've forgotten it. Okay, well, everything has to be prior to the end of the game. Then.
Okay, I mean, it's okay. The engram is killing her quickly at every end of the game. Okay. There are ones where she's already dead at the end of the game. Yes, that's true. And also, you've gotten rid of
John. You can get rid of. You can get rid of him. I think.
I don't think there's an ending where you still have Johnny.
I don't think so.
He's gone no matter what, whether you're dead or whether.
Well,
there's one where he takes your body though.
Right.
You give him your body, so that Johnny's still around and you're not. That's a fun one. I did not want to do that.
It seems like the only ending I can think of where we get to like have post story content, because everything else is like you're no longer V and it doesn't matter. You don't control your body, or you're dead, or you and Johnny are dead, or Johnny's gone and you're dead, right?
Right.
So everything has to be set prior to the end of the game.
Well, there's the one that I think I've chosen this one both of my runs, but you just run out with the Aldecados. You just like leave Night City. The Aldecados are moving on, and you just go with them. And you're like, I don't know, maybe you'll find a cure out there. The end.
Maybe you'll find a cure out in the desert.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Desert's notably resourceful when it comes to curing cyber diseases.
Yeah, I mean, they're nomadic. But maybe they'll go to Phoenix or, I don't know, whatever other cities still exist in this world, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. So there's that one. There's another one, too, I've read about where you're trying to pull off a heist on a orbiting casino.
Okay.
So that one, you're just kind of doing your own V things and just whatever. When I die, I die. So that's one.
Right. Orbiting casino.
Yeah.
Like space station?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Like for the ultra rich, because you have to like take a space shuttle out there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get up there and it's just Jeff Bezos playing craps by himself. God, what a world.
Alone. Yeah. That'd be so good. Fucking Musk is there, and Bezos is like, I don't want to talk to you. Over there.
They sit at opposite tables.
Yeah. Don't get along at all. What I like too about this Reddit post that I found this from is it says, oh, did I lose it? No, it's right here. It says they've also the next patch. Let's see. In a future patch, they'll be overhauling the police AI.
Again? Didn't they have to like?
Where is it?
Right.
So, okay, initially on launch of the game, you commit a crime and the police spawns in behind you about 6 feet.
Yes.
Start shooting at your back.
Yes.
They fixed it to where the AI spawns in
around the corner.
Yeah, maybe 40 yards away.
Yep.
40 meters away. I don't care. It's not a lot, but it's more than right behind you.
Right.
But that's what it is now, which is it still sucks.
It still sucks.
And they're talking about adding car combat, which doesn't exist at all in the game, except in the mission that specifically is built around it.
The one cutscene.
Yeah. The one car combat where you don't actually have to shoot back and you win anyway. Awesome. Truly incredible stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, they're still working on it, I guess.
Yeah. The new patch comes with 3 new gigs. Wow.
Which patch? The one that's coming later?
The one that just came out.
Oh, so there's new gigs? Holy smokes, I'm gonna have to re-download the game.
3 new gigs, 6 new firearms, and 5 new melee weapons, one of which is a chainsword. So,
okay, that's pretty good. How was that not in the release of the game? How did they mess that up?
Yeah, I know, right?
Chainsword.
There's a bunch of like bug fixes and new stuff you can do. You can now change what V is wearing. Like you can transmog her clothes into other clothes without changing their stats. So you can now customize.
Transmog.
Yeah,
I got transmog. People are asking for that too.
Yeah, they finally got it.
That's nice. I mean, I just got to a point eventually in the game where like it didn't matter what I wore. I was so overpowered. It was just like,
right,
wear what I want. But yeah,
more or less. Yeah. Neon rims on bikes come in different colors now.
That's fancy pants. Yeah.
What else is there? New hairstyles and character creations. They disabled V from fidgeting constantly during character creation.
I don't know. I think that kind of gave a little bit of lifelike behavior to her. I don't
know. V will now sleep in the bed for an amount of time set by the player. So you now have Skyrim-esque sleeping.
Oh. Okay.
Or waiting, really.
Like,
yeah.
Isn't there like sleep until morning, sleep until evening?
I don't remember because I never used it. There was no need.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Because the last patch, they introduced some buffs if you sleep or if you eat or drink certain things.
So
I'm pretty sure. Anyway, whatever. We'll see.
Yep.
Right. Enough of that. Enough spent on CD Projekt Red.
Indeed.
Yeah. So did you end up watching the first 2 episodes of Rings of Power, or did your sleep schedule murder that?
Nope, I watched them.
Oh, so that didn't help your sleep schedule then. That was another thing.
I mean, it didn't hurt, I think.
Okay.
It gave me something to do while I was stuck awake.
Yeah. All right. So my takeaway from the first couple episodes is that it feels like Lord of the Rings to me, which I was worried about, I think.
I think it feels not entirely like Lord of the Rings. Okay. I feel like it's Lord of the Rings if it was kind of Games of Thronesy. It's just because I've been watching a lot of Games of Thrones as well. Like a couple days ago, you talked to me while we're doing our stream. I was on season 3. I'm now on season 5, like near the end.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
So I'm blazing through it, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh, Lord of the Rings. You start off with like the Fellowship, and then they split apart, and they'll go their separate ways more or less, and do separate things that all kind of come together at the end. This feels like, oh, we've got Elrond doing his things with the dwarves, and Galadriel's like stuck on a boat, and the hobbits are working out with like, I assume that's Tom Bombadil. They haven't actually named this character. So? Well, I don't know who else it is.
I think officially he's credited as Meteor Man.
Fine.
Which is great. I don't know. I was thinking, what if it's Gandalf? What if that's where Gandalf comes from?
Maybe, but Gandalf...
Bombadil's a human?
Bombadil's a shapeshifter, if I recall. Like, he can actually change his form. But Gandalf, when he came to Middle-earth, he was with the 4 other wizards as well. So he wouldn't be by himself. Like, okay. He was sent
one of the 4 major wizards then.
5 wizards. Sure. Yeah, so I assume that's Tom Bombadil. I don't know. I'm just like, oh, okay. But it feels like there's like 4 or 5 different storylines. Like there's also the elf in the human village working out like the cow that's being poisoned or whatever. Like we have all these things that are going to draw together later. But right now, just seem like very different events.
Very traditional modern TV storytelling.
Right, which is not what Lord of the Rings feels like, because it was made 20 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. I just meant more like, it feels to me like the events I'm seeing on the screen feel like they're in Middle-earth.
They definitely feel like they're in Middle-earth. Okay. I'll give them that, sure. But that's just like, there's elves and there's dwarves. Okay. Like it's not a high bar.
Yeah. Right, fair enough.
I'm just annoyed that it's like, oh, the elves haven't even seen an orc in 300 years. And then there's like Galadriel's like jumping off a boat, swimming to shore, and bumps into the first humans in the middle of the ocean, who's like, yeah, we got chased out of our lands by orcs. It's like,
right. And she's like, where? It's like to the south. And she's like, damn it, I was going north.
Right.
Which, honestly, I don't know. I think that's hilarious. Like, she spends literal centuries of her life being like, he's north, I know it. We're going clear to the northern lands. And then it's like, nah, man, I've been in the south the whole time.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's funny, but I just don't think it's good that it's like, oh, as far as we can tell, the only places we haven't been are to the north, right? And they're like, okay, so they've checked the south, presumably. No, just all those elves, they just stopped looking, right? And
yeah, but I mean, the High King is like, yo, look, Sometimes looking for evil can stir it up and help to reignite and spread it. So, like, that's why I told her, they're gone, go home.
That's I don't know.
He says that.
He says that. I don't think it's accurate.
Okay.
I mean, on minor levels, there's some dialogue issues I take with when Elrond's like writing the king's speech for when Galadriel gets like knighted and rewarded. Someone comes up to him and tells him, "You're not going to be allowed at the next council," right? And he's like, "Okay, whatever." But the way that they do that is like, "You're not going to be at the next council. Elf lords only." And I'm like, surely you would just call them lords, right? You're all elves there. Right?
Yeah.
It just felt very out of place to be like specifically telling Elrond that no, you can't come to the council because it's elven lords only.
Yeah. So Elrond's half elf, half human.
Is he?
Yeah, which they don't talk about at all in this show. But I think that's an important fact of what you're talking about here.
Okay.
He's a half breed.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I prefer that more.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if they said that? I was like, this is going to come up in conversation somewhere. Mm-hmm. Nope, not at all. All right, okay. Neat.
Okay, because there is one other half-elf in this show. It's very, very hinted at that the healer in the human town has been banging the hot elf dude, who's a soldier.
You think so? He is so locked down. Like, for him to be like, I'm going to say 4 words to you with this seems like a very big undertaking for him. I don't know if they're fucking.
I think they are. Okay. Because there's a whole, like, when the kid finds the sword that's got Sauron's, like, print on it, his best friend and bully are like, yeah, well, where's your dad then? He ran off. And he's like, no, he didn't. It's like, oh, okay, his dad's somewhere. And it's like, okay, I guess we know what's happening here.
Oh, so interesting. Holy shit. You think they have been banging forever.
Yeah.
And then that's his kid?
He says he's been at this town for 79 years, which means he's known this woman for a very long time. Since she's been born.
Yeah, and creepily since she was an infant, so that's a little that.
It is what it is.
It is. I mean, it's just a natural consequence of being hundreds and hundreds of years
old. Yes.
Yeah. Oh wow. I don't think so. Because when she's like, I'm coming with you to the town, and he's like, all right, and then she's like, I'm gonna go back and warn everyone. Like, they don't kiss or hug or anything. If they were like a relationship, they'd do something there because there's no one to see them. I get it; they're hiding in her town. Burned out town, like, let's express our love before you go on this dangerous journey.
He's already expressed that the rest of the garrison at the Watchtower are out looking for him because he's not supposed to have wandered off. So they don't know who might be watching from where. Elves have very long distance eyes, like long distance sight.
What do your elven eyes see, Legolas? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So fine. I do not accept your explanation, but it is plausible.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll find out. Because, I mean, if they set it up and do nothing with it, I'm going to be annoyed.
Well, if they say, I don't know, Elf Guy's getting out of Elf Guy's current situation is not super likely.
He's just
like, you're in a tunnel. You cannot stand up. You're going to die. This is not your natural habitat, man.
The elf went underground.
Why are you doing this? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
He did say he was a grower. So I guess he's used to digging holes. I don't know.
Fine, he's a farmer. He's still an elf. And then like he's get chased by something and he escapes it fine, and then he gets yanked into a wall by 8 different hands and is like, oh, okay, well, he's dead now.
Nah,
it's just not dead because he has plot armor. But he really should be dead.
Those are just ants. That's fine. He'll be fine. Those are ants.
That would be interesting, actually.
They've never seen the orcs for 300 years as well.
Right.
But they've been talking about it the entire time.
Right. Yeah, it also is like, okay, so the elves have set up these watchtowers all over the place, ostensibly, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've been watching for the return of the orcs and the return of Sauron, and they've never seen anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the orcs get within a day's journey by foot of one of the towers, and they're like, Nope, nothing here. I guess we're all packing up and going home.
They,
How? How are we bad at this?
They left the day before they got there. To be fair, the official decree was like, all right, let's bug out. And then a day later, they were there within a day's walk. Like, they were 2 days away when they gave up. Like, much better.
No, but the elf is doing his patrol. He goes into the tavern, and the dude's like, oh, yeah, there's a patch of dead grass.
Well, that's just some poison wheat.
That's just I'm just saying, the orcs were doing stuff before the elves left. And their whole job was detecting the elves. So I'm just saying they're real bad at their job.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy had been digging a tunnel underneath the town for a very long time because the boy complains about the mice under the house, which he says has been keeping him up for like the last 3 or 4 days. So I assume he's been there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, the elves are right on top of a new orc infestation, and they know nothing until the orcs have already raised an entire village.
Right.
Way to go, guys. You are just killing it. That's all.
Yeah, yep.
Let's see. Otherwise, I did appreciate that when Galadriel jumps off the boat, she doesn't just like swim home and it's not a big deal. I was like, oh, come on, please no. Please no. It's an entire ocean. You can't just do that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, people swim the English Channel. It takes them like 12 hours, but they do it. I
don't know.
Look, I don't know how far it is to Valinor. Who knows how far they got. I thought they were juxtaposing that with Elrond's feat of strength. It's like, oh, here's a feat of endurance and a feat of strength. Like, and here's the elves kicking ass at both. No, they both fail. All right, more or less.
Right.
I thought everything in the boat so far has been very boring.
Like the whole shipwrecked people. And
yeah, that would like. There's
they
some
all die except for the mysterious one.
Right, he's got something around his neck, but he won't say what it is. And oh my god, he said the words. It's like, Gondor needs no king. He's like, we have no king. It's like, oh my god, this is like 3,000 years before the events of Lord of the Rings, and they're still being like, we don't have a king. Like, they've really not changed. Honestly, it's kind. I kind of don't like that, right? Because it's like, why don't you have a king now? We get it that later the line of kings failed.
The orcs came and killed him. He says, I got kicked out of my home, not by other men and not by elves, but by orcs.
Right.
They killed the king, got murdered, and all of his humans and friends had to flee.
I don't think he says that the king got killed. He just says that we have no king. Right? That's not the same thing.
He's after everyone that he knows and loves has become a refugee. I
mean, that's different then. That's like...
Yeah.
You don't have a mayor either, but you don't make a point of it.
What part of we have no king to you doesn't mean our king is dead?
The part where he says we have no king, like Gondor didn't have a king, but Aragorn was alive. He was just waiting to get there. The phrase we have no king is reminiscent of we don't know who our king should be. The bloodline is lost or befuddled or like whatever. Like they don't know who the king is. We don't have a chosen king. We're a group of free independent cities or even. You know?
That is not what I picked up from that conversation at all.
I mean, it's the way I feel like it is, because everything else seems to be like a proto-civilization from all the other races. Like, there is no Hobbiton yet. The hobbits, the half-foots or whatever, are migratory, right? Yeah. Like, so I just don't see, like, all of humanity having kings that they're, like, bannering behind yet. I just don't see that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think they're just little independent...
towns, more or less, yeah.
Towns and villages, and the elves keep an eye on things and kind of keep the peace.
More or less, yeah. Because that's the way it feels like with those other villages. They've got one banner there, and the human who picks a fight with the elf in the first episode is like, when our king returns, we'll drive out you knife years or whatever, right?
Okay.
But he also says that town was loyal to Morgoth. So maybe he means his king is Morgoth or Sauron.
Yeah, maybe.
So
that'd be great.
Again, so I just think the notion of what is a king and what isn't a king for the humans is not our king is dead.
Interesting. Okay. I assume they'll explain more of that later.
I would certainly hope so.
It'd be nice.
All
right.
Now,
let's see what else. I just, in general, I've always just had a hard time with the concept of beings who live for thousands of years living alongside beings that live for like 70.
right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like us forming relationships with like
Flies.
robins. Flies, yeah, an even shorter lifespan. It's us being like, hey, the new crop of flies, let's develop relationships with them. Like, why would you do that? I think
the
like
problem.
Galadriel's talking to dude on the boat, and I'm like, Galadriel has so many more life experiences and knows so many more things and so much more wisdom than this dude.
Mm-hmm.
But like, they talk to each other like they're both human, and I can't get my head around it.
Well, I mean, fundamentally, we can't ever know what. Well, maybe if aliens come along, but there is no other civilization on Earth that can converse with us and build things, but live on much shorter. Like, there are no other gorilla kingdoms, right? Like, humans might live a significantly shorter amount of time, but they still live within our frame of reference, which is like years. Like, they have that understanding. Flies die so quickly. I don't think they know they could track.
Quickly is a form of reference.
Right. That's the thing.
Frame of reference.
That's the thing. Everything on Earth lives at a different frame of reference to like us to elves. Like, we would be the elves here. Humans in Middle Earth still live within an elf frame of reference. Right, 70 years is still a long-ish time, right?
It's a blink of an eye to you, says Prince Durin.
That's 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Durin's also says he
40?
It was 20, and he also says that he's known Elrond for 50 years already, which makes him like 60 something probably, and still the prince, and his dad looks way older. So he's got like another 60 years anyway. 120 years, that's like half of a war with the orcs for the elves at this point. Like, that is not a long frame of time.
Right.
It's not like an ancient standing of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, how those relationships should work is pretty hard for us to judge, I feel. Just because we don't have actually any real frame of reference for it. You know, that's my point.
Right. I guess I do like your initial point where you said, like, what if flies could talk to us?
Right.
Would we develop relationships then? Honestly, probably yes.
Yeah, I mean, we develop relationships with our pets, dogs, cats.
Right. We can't even talk to them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
pets,
some people...
Right? So that's your Invincible tie-in.
I mean, I was just going to make the point that some people do talk to their pets and think their pets talk back to them. True. But, I mean, pets, even then, don't build civilizations. Like, they don't build castles and towns. Right. And, yeah.
Dude, what if Elf Guy thinks of Healer as a pet?
I don't think so.
I mean, it's a real... I mean...
Nobody fucks their cats.
Are you kidding? Some people totally do that.
Nobody in Middle Earth fucks their cats.
Also, are you kidding? Some people totally do that.
No, I won't allow it.
Bestiality always exists. It's gross.
Not in Middle Earth. Not in Middle Earth.
Middle Earth is too pure.
Not my Middle Earth.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Like, I do find Galadriel really stern and kind of like stoic all the time, and I'm like, this is a little off-putting. But like, again, she's 900 years old. Like, okay, fine, I get it. Like, you're one of the first elves. You've seen everything. You dedicated centuries of your life to the pursuit of ancient evil. That's all you did for centuries. That's gonna change a person.
Yeah.
So, like, fine. I'm fine with it. She's the soldier. That's all she knows.
I do think it's a little strange that they're like, oh yeah, we found a stronghold so far north, like everything's just a frozen waste, further north than anyone has ever been in our armies. And we found instructions to head further north, more or less. Right? And they're just like, dismiss it. Like, doesn't matter.
Fake out.
Yeah.
It's a fake out. Because the orcs were in the south. It was a trick. They were right to go home.
No, they weren't.
What are you talking about?
There's clearly more to do up there. There was snow trolls hanging around.
The came from the south.
They could have been made in the north, gotten boats, traveled down, or dug a hole, bypassed all the dwarves underground, and popped up in the south. There's no reason it can't be both, but if you find a lead says go north, and you've got 12 men halfway there already, just let them keep going. Don't be a bunch of cowards and leave. Lay down your weapons at Galadriel's feet. She just saved your lives.
True. Dude, they suck fighting that ice troll or
They do. I was like,
They're
wow.
like standing there, just getting backhanded into walls, and I'm like, can we do flips or like duck or something? Like, you could still be getting your ass kicked, but like pretend you're trying.
Right.
Maybe they were like, oh, thank goodness, sweet death. Take us, ice troll. But Galadriel will never let us go home.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, they were so bad.
I mean, it would have
all their battles for him, and she does that every time, and they just don't have any fighting skills.
It's true. Maybe they were malnutritioned from traveling north so far long without any food. I don't know. Maybe they ate that cave troll.
I mean, depending on how hungry you are, that's probably a great idea.
I don't know. Evil things are like infused with evil. I think if you eat evil things.
Wait, are cave trolls evil?
Yeah.
They like spawned from Morgoth?
Yeah. He sung trolls and shit into the world.
So Middle Earth didn't have trolls until Morgoth went nuts.
I missed that question.
What I'm asking.
I missed the question. I was reading.
So trolls didn't exist until
Morgoth
went nuts?
Yeah. So I think the idea is Eru Iluvatar was like the god, and he sung the world into existence, and he sung basically angels like Gandalf and Morgoth into existence as well to join his song. But Morgoth wanted his own songs and started singing things like orcs and trolls and balrogs into existence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Yeah. So evil thing sung into existence by Morgoth. Yeah, probably shouldn't eat that. Good call.
Probably not very tasty.
Oh, that reminds me of the scene when the elf dude's milking the cow and like
black sludge coming out. Yeah.
Like, damn. Oh, that cow alive.
Yeah, no thanks.
That cannot be good for the cow.
Yeah, no, that cow. You put that thing in the ground. That would be my advice.
So okay, so Healer's kid, he's digging around in the floorboards, under the floorboards in the barn, and he finds this like stash of stuff. So at first I thought that was stuff that his mom put there.
No, you're talking about the sword?
Yeah, but then obviously there's this like...
So they're in someone else's bar.
On there.
Yeah, they're in someone else's barn looking for gold or I assumed booze because they were like kids looking for some guy's supply.
Yeah, he says like he accidentally found it.
Right.
Yeah, the loose board. Anyway.
Right, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then they find the sword, because the townsfolk were at one point loyal to Morgoth, and they find Sauron, like a sword that Sauron probably gave like a commander in the area that had been broken, and like the townsperson was like, I'm just going to bury this, make sure the elves don't find it, and then one day we'll get back to what we were doing.
Right, we'll be back to being soldiers of Morgoth. It was awesome. I would like to do that again, please.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's tricky because the show's pretty interested in racism as a thought, and like every group is like pretty racist to each other, right?
Yeah, like Celebrimbor is like, how far outside of our race do we want to look for building materials or workforces? Yeah,
yeah, and like the humans don't like the elves because of the racism, whatever. But like the elves have a point. Like. I don't know. Like the commander's all like, all right, we're not watching them because of what they were. We watch them because of what they still are. And it's like, oh no, he's racist and mean. But then like, he's also kind of right. So that's the real world sometimes, I suppose. Yeah, it's interesting. It's more morally ambiguous, I think, than I was expecting.
Right. I don't know.
So it's good. I just appreciate it. Like I appreciate, honestly, if you're going to look at racism, I like it when you're not afraid to be like, everybody's a little bit racist, right? Like, no matter who you are, you have your own biases. You have your own inborn caveman brain, fear of the other. And if someone looks different than you, then you will treat them a little bit differently. And that's it. That's how humans are.
I mean, yeah, we can make that argument in real life that we have caveman brains, but when we were literally created by a creator god, it gets a little sticky, you know?
Oh no, they don't have the same excuses that we do.
Right.
That's an excellent point. I'm going to look at the show with an entirely different perspective now. Oh boy.
It's much more of a, yeah, apparently Aki got hit by 7 ads. So while you were talking at points, I was looking at like, where do I find my ads manager on Twitch again? Let's look at this. But it should be...
Is way too many.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe with Twitch Prime if you don't want to see any ads.
More money.
Takes money right out of Bezos' pocket and puts it into mine.
Actually, didn't he's not the CEO of Amazon anymore?
I don't.
That happen?
I don't know. Apparently, he didn't do any work anyway. Like, apparently what he would do is he would get emails, he would look at them, and then forward them without comment to the person whose job he thought it was. That's what he would do.
Delegation, man. Someone's got to do that. So let's see. He is the executive chairman of Amazon, but he's not the president and CEO.
Oh, okay.
So what does that mean? What does executive chairman do?
I don't know. Hey, Swiss, thank you for the sub.
Hey, the Swiss.
Welcome. I really enjoyed all your cheeses in the cheese compilation.
Wait, didn't he sub before the stream started? How's it
No.
now?
He followed before.
Oh, he followed. Now he subbed. Nice.
No. Now he subbed.
Anywho. First time chat from a viewer. Fantastic. And he's already subbed. First time chat from a subber. So yeah, I think it's good. I do think it's a little slow, but I think they're putting in the work to give us some slower moments with these characters and help us understand who they are. And then it was going to get nuts, is my expectation.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it gets better. I hope like things start to draw in a little bit. I'm kind of not interested in seeing a mixture of every race having to have an equal part in a story. Like, I'm totally fine if there were just no hobbits in the show. Like, the hobbits as children don't really interest me at all, especially a nomadic tribe of hobbits I don't really care about.
Especially if they're dirty gypsies, is what I'm hearing here. Nomads, no land or home of their own. What are they worth? Okay, Somicron, I see how it is.
Look, they are all in dirty rags. That's all I'll say. Like, I mean, they can barely put up a tent.
Steal from that dude's farm.
Yeah, I don't know whose farm that was. Like,
was it an abandoned farm?
I assume so. There was like a wolf. Because at first I thought, they're going to... At first I thought that was Tom Bombadil's farm and he had shapeshifted into like a wolf or something.
Right.
Because that's why he didn't eat them, I assume. But then nothing ever happened with the rest of it. They just took some berries and left. And it's like, okay, how about you guys, like, you're there. Why don't you take like a tree, take a couple saplings and plant them?
Yeah, that'd be smart.
Yeah.
That's funny. I was listening to a podcast today where a super hardcore Lord of the Rings nerd was talking to someone who's never read any of the books about the show, and he says the same thing. The guy who hasn't read any Lord of the Rings is like, I just skipped the parts of the movies with the hobbits. I'm like, Elijah Wood, skip? She was so offended by this. She's like, of all the things you've ever said, this is the worst take you've ever had.
Look, I love the hobbits in the Lord of the Rings, right? Rings of Power. I just okay, so here's this story about how the rings get made, essentially. We don't need the Hobbit perspective on this. Like, what are they doing here? Not like this is some tale from ages ago. We don't need every race. We don't need a little peek at the hobbits and a little peek at the dwarves, a little peek at the elves. It should be a little more tighter focus, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
so
there is a point later.
Yes, and that's the thing. The Lord of the Rings hardcore fan, she was like, the whole point of the hobbits is what Tolkien is trying to communicate is that even the smallest and least important of us can do great things. Like, that's the whole point. That's why the hobbits are in the story.
Well,
So yeah, I assume Nori's going to do something amazing. They're setting her up to do something cool.
yeah, but I feel like if the Hobbits had a hero from ages past that did really cool things and went on amazing adventures and affected great change in the world, the Hobbits would be a little more like that when they get round to later on. It's like, oh, instead of having
doing it wouldn't have turned him to an outcast.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And like Gandalf coming along wouldn't be labeled as a disturber of the peace because he set a dragon free somewhere else, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point.
Not Gandalf's
Hobbit culture would be more interested in adventuring if their long ancestor Nori had gone off and done some amazing stuff. That's a good point.
Right. Unless she goes off and just dies. Then when she is, okay, she did some amazing stuff, and they don't know, and then they're like, uh-oh, put up walls, we need to stay here.
Oh, that would be kind of interesting if Nori dies completely unknown. Oh, that'd be sad, but I think it would be neat.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be for it then.
Choice.
And
something entirely heroic saves everything, but like no one's around to see it.
Well, I mean, there kind of has to be a sad point in the story because why they are hitting all of the races and all of oh, here's the king of the dwarves and whatnot, is because Sauron goes around and offers them all rings, so you kind of need to set them up for failure. And so when they get to the humans, oh my god, I'm wondering if dude on the boat turns out, because he's got the thing on his neck, his necklace, and oh, is that a mark from your king? He's like, we have no kings. I wonder if he's actually the prince or something, right?
He's the secret prince of Gondor.
He's secret prince of Proto Gondor, and Sauron's gonna come up to him and be like, hey bro, want a ring? And it's gonna be
sweet.
He's like, yeah, and it's gonna stretch his life into so long that he's gonna fade into the ring wraiths, the wraith world or whatever, become a ring wraith. That guy's a ring wraith. That's my guess.
That's kind of cool, honestly. I like that. Yeah.
Yep, that's my guess.
Okay, deal.
Yep. Ooh.
Also, I really like the cinematography in the show. I think it's really good. I think some of the shots have just been wow. Like the one where Galadriel's all tied up in the ropes and getting dragged down under the sea during the storm, and he comes down to get her. I don't know. I just think a lot of it's been really well framed and some pretty fantastic wallpaper type stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's been good. I think the scene where the camera pans down and it's her climbing up, and I'm like, oh, that shot was in the trailer. It looked shit then too, right?
Yeah, that looks very good.
It's bad CG, and it looks better now in the final product, but it's still not great.
I didn't expect it to be in the first 3 minutes of the show.
No, neither did I.
Here's this shot that everyone hated. It's never coming back. Bye.
In fact, all of the elves are going to take your side and get her the hell out of the Snowlands.
Right. Because it's kind of nuts, right? Because part of you is expecting to see that scene, and you're like, oh, is it going to look like shit or is it going to look good? But it's gone. They just completely removed that from our minds. That's kind of smart. If they did that, smart. If it was an accident, then whatever. They got lucky.
Yeah.
We missed anything? The whole dwarves getting.
They had that box at the end, and there's something shiny in the box. That Pulp Fiction suitcase.
Yeah, probably mithril, right?
No, I think it's supposed to be in the Hobbit movies. The dwarves are have that one stone that they find that infects them with
not watch the Hobbit movies, but okay.
Okay, have you read the Hobbit? I don't know if it's in the Hobbit book.
I've read the Hobbit. But
I don't know. I haven't, and I know those books aren't in the movies.
So they find a stone in the Hobbit movies, right?
Basically, there's some stone that when dwarves look upon it, they become dragon lust for gold, and they start hoarding all their jewels and stuff.
Classic,
But Durin thinks it's his right to rule. Is what that Joan is. It's the king's stone or some shit. And that's ostensibly what they're going. The point of the Hobbit is the dwarves are going back there to recover their home and all their gold, but ostensibly that jewel in particular, because it's it'll unite the other dwarves or some shit, and he'll be crowned king and blah blah blah. I assume that's what it is because it's got the same kind of white glowy effect in the Hobbit movies. Which, it's fine, don't watch the Hobbit movies. Let's just hope it's something else.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'd really appreciate it if they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first, I was like, "Oh no, it's the ring. He's already got it." And then I was like, "That'd be real fast." No.
Celebrimbor hasn't even made them yet.
Right. I'm like, well, why are they teasing it? Whatever. We'll see what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of nice too to see the to see the dwarf ancient homelands, because we do get to see it in the Lord of the Rings, but it's all abandoned and torn out and stuff.
Right.
It's kind of cool to see it like at the height of its glories before they ruined everything.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of why I like Lord of the Rings. It's like everything is kind of faded glory, especially for the elves, because they know that magic's dwindling in the Middle Earth, and like that's what the rings are supposed to do, is to keep magic sticking around in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
And so it's this melancholy feeling of, oh, we're defeating Sauron finally after like millennia, but his destruction destroys our rings' powers essentially as well. And then that's why they all have to fade into the west or the east or whatever. Yeah. I really like that about Lord of the Rings, and seeing everything at their height of their power, but still unable to really get anything fucking done is a little annoying for me.
Get anything done? What do you mean by that?
I mean, the elves can't put together a workforce to build a tower, right? They have to go.
The biggest tower of all time.
It's not the biggest tower.
Built by Spring, Somicron.
Why do they need to build by?
Huge, and it's very fast.
Right, but
if it was smaller or they had more time, the elves could do it.
They have unlimited time. That's what they believe. They're immortal. They have all the time in the world. By Spring. Why?
Because that's when Sauron needs them? I don't know, man.
It's true. That is the conceit, that Sauron comes to them as like in disguise and gives them the plans. Spoilers for the next episode, probably. But excuse me, I played Shadow of Mordor.
Which is a really good couple of games, honestly.
It is, yeah.
What is that? I don't know. It's like not what you would expect when you hear of a Lord of the Rings game, but it's very much more of a hack and slash than anything, but it's really well done.
It's very good. Yeah.
Do I remember anything about the story? Not really.
Oh, I remember a little bit. Mainly like the start of the game where you're like a ranger for Gondor and you die, and then
wife and kid gets murdered
brutally. Yeah. And then you get like soul fused with a spirit. It's fine.
Yeah, pretty typical storytelling mechanisms there.
Yeah.
Fair.
It's pretty anime.
And that's it. And then you kill orcs in revenge. It's awesome.
That is exactly what you do, yes. You spend the next 26 hours stabbing orcs in the face. I mean, like, my god, they brought him back to life. You stab him in the face again.
Kill him again. That's right.
Yeah.
That game was all about the Nemesis system, really.
It really was, yeah.
If it doesn't have that, I'm not sure it has as much
appeal.
Yeah. General appeal.
Here's the thing, the Nemesis system is really good, but we haven't seen it really like been stolen into other games, which is disappointing. Because I feel like there are other games where they're like, oh, we could have a series, like an enemy organization you have to hunt down and track, and here's a great like randomizer, for lack of a better term, like it's just a bunch of presets that they mix and match.
Yeah.
And nobody else can seem to do it as good, and it's not
even that complicated. It's not that hard.
It can't be that complicated, it can't be that hard, but the fact that we haven't seen it makes me worried that it doesn't matter.
It's just been forgotten.
Yeah. It's like games are good enough anywhere.
Yeah, nobody in a game studio is like, you know what we need to put in our game? The Nemesis system from 2008's Lord of the Rings Shadows of Mordor.
Well, here's the thing. It could have done really well in something like Halo Infinite, where it's like, hey, we're going to have an open world entry to Halo, and the Chief's going to be stuck on this ring. He's going to have a bunch of Covenant to fight. How do we make this spicy? Oh, what if we have a system that generates foes? It's like, that would have been great. It would have added a lot of replayability. You get to run around the ring, hunt down people, and there is a little bit of that. There are like some captains you can go fight, and they've got special versions of their weapons, but there's not that many, and they're not that interesting.
Yeah, so they need like named elites that talk trash to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, to develop an emotional connection. So you want to murder them because they've been mean.
They've been mean. They all need to speak in Cockney English accents as well, like the orcs.
Oh my gosh, yes, 100%. That is the most racist part of the Lord of the Rings movies. Is that like, we need to communicate these orcs aren't quite human. I know, we'll give them Cockney accents.
I think it's racist. I think it's fun.
And everybody outside of England's like, okay, and everyone in England's like, ooh, okay, all right. Are we trying to say something here?
I mean, I don't know. Tolkien was English. He should be fine with it.
Yeah, no, he probably would be fine with it. He's like, yep, low class people, orcs, perfect. Tracks. Yeah, freaking Tolkien was a well-off white dude in 1863. Like, yes, he was.
I mean, like, I personally, if they chose an all Australian like Bogan accents for it, that would be a very different game.
Yeah.
Bunch of orcs being like, "Oh, mate, spare us $1 for the bus. I need to hit down to the bottle and pick up a couple of stubbies." Like, that would be great. I would have no problem with it. It'd be a good time.
All right. Anyways, yeah, that was Lord of the Rings. Excellent.
That was Lord of the Rings.
What else is happening here?
TSL happened.
TSL did some stuff.
Oh, did GSL do some things too? I forget that that's a show. Still going. I'm not saying that just because Tastosis isn't there. Well, Tasteless is, but some other guys there.
Group D, I'm like, I don't know. Like, Sue not making it through sucks, but the rest of it's whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Ryung. No, Ragnarok's pretty good. I just didn't expect him to get out first.
Me neither. Ragnarok and Creator make it out. Sue and Ryung do not.
No. Okay.
Yeah, for Ragnarok to be number one in that group is like, really? Okay.
If you say so.
Right.
We got Group E coming up in a couple days. Tomorrow, 7 hours from now.
Dog, Solar, Prince, and Cure.
Yeah.
And Cure's the GSL winner.
Yeah, I would say Cure on Dark.
Yeah.
Not seen a lot of Prince.
Me neither.
Prince? Pig Subathon 2v2 tournament took first place. With DRG Link versus Special and Champ.
Yeah, he's only got minor finishes, period, in StarCraft 2.
Yes.
He doesn't have any like mid-major or premier results at all. So,
yes. Yeah. $10,000 lifetime winnings, approximately. So, which is nice. I don't have $10,000 lifetime winnings in anything.
Playing StarCraft, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah. If he wins GSL, can he then retire and come back later, but call himself the StarCraft Pro, formerly known as Prince?
Yes.
Please.
I think he's required to do that, to be honest. Like, he has to, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Okay.
I would just love to see that on every splash screen when he gets introduced.
StarCraft player, formerly known as Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Let's see, what else? Orcs with an Aussie accent would be for some, binge watching. See, the Swiss is on board.
Yeah.
Got to contact the estate. We have to contact whoever owns the rights for this and say, next time,
the Tolkien estate.
The orcs need Australian accents. The Australians will love it.
The Tolkien estate just sold their rights to games and stuff, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because I saw, there was something like there was some studio that bought a bunch of other little studios. Because everyone's buying up everyone at the moment, right?
Right.
And one of them was like the people that make Shadow of Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. So the rights to their games just got sold, essentially.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Does that help or hurt future games?
Help, probably, since they haven't been making any more recently, I think. And hopefully with the new TV show, it'll renew some interest and we'll get another one. Yeah. That's
That'd be
like
good. I'm
that's
support
all.
it.
Yep.
Yep. Good.
Who makes that game? So, why would they tell me? Like here's a bunch of awards the game won. Tell me who made it. Monolith Production. Thank you. Like the list of things in order of importance, awards were above developer, and I'm like, no. I care more about who's developing this than what awards they won.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't find anything on it.
Well, guess we'll see.
Yep.
One day, something on Reddit will be like, "Oh, new Lord of the Rings game! Hooray!"
Huzzah!
It'd be pretty surprising if there wasn't some kind of a tie-in,
Mm.
you know, with the Rings of Power in some video game, whether it's good or not.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. Every now and then I get emails from Games Workshop because they also do the Lord of the Rings tabletop game.
Okay.
And so I've been seeing slightly more tabletop advertisements for Middle-earth games.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, good. The future of Lord of the Rings seems solid, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. What else is happening? Oh, so sports ball 10 seconds. College football is finally doing a 12-team playoff. Ending possibly as early as 2026. The end.
2026?
Yeah.
So they announced this, they can't even implement it like the next year. They have to like...
Yeah, there's all the existing contracts and stuff and TV deals and things that they can't just like get out of. Yep.
Lame. Okay. Well, that's something to look forward to.
It is. Been waiting for my entire life. So, right on.
Cool. All right.
Cool. Sports ball over. Is that it?
Yeah, might be.
Nerdy stuff that we have. Is that it? We talked about Cyberpunk.
That's probably it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
When did the new episodes of Rings of Power air?
I don't know. That's a good point.
The Google says somewhere. Fridays.
September 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Neat. All right, cool. So I think that's going to be it from us then.
Just enough time to rewatch the original trilogy.
Yes. Extended editions. Oh, yeah.
Of course. Why would you ever watch anything else?
I don't know, right? Exactly. All right, cool. So that's going to be it from us today. This has been Falcon Paladin Somicron with another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. You can support us directly at a couple of places. One is patreon.com/Somicron and also falconpaladin.store for your merch needs.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, until next time, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Swiss for subscribing to Somicron's YouTube channel. There are VODs on YouTube. Just search Falcon Paladin Hour.
Mm-hmm.
And this is broadcast live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Somicron every Tuesday/Wednesday, depending where you are in the world.
Yes.
All right, cool. That's going to be it from us again. Thanks for hanging out. And until next time, stay safe and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Bye.